आइए हम सुने विज्ञान की अनकही कहानियाँ। आइए हम सुने विज्ञान की अनसुनी कहानियाँ। एक नई दुनिया की आवाज़ आपकी आवाज़, विज्ञान की आवाज़, की आवाज़।
Celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, we bring you a podcast series on STEM popularization, science, technology, engineering, mathematics and medicine, supported and catalyzed by the National Council for Science and Technology Communication, Government of India. This program is produced by Media for Community Foundation. Creative content and technical support is given by Purvasha Banerjee and Shushanto Das.
एक नई दुनिया की आवाज़ आपकी आवाज़, विज्ञान की आवाज़, की आवाज़, की आवाज़।
Vigyan Ki Awaaz podcast series aims to popularize new ideas of science and technology, which highlight STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and medicine. This brings to the surface the efforts and researches of Indian scientists, which is desired to bring a change in community learning and teaching, access to knowledge of resources, and social paradigms. Our goal is to spread the name of indigenous Indian research stories and their masters among the masses of society in a very easy manner. Bose Institute was set up in 1917 by Sir Jagadish Chandra Bose, the founder of modern science in the Indian subcontinent. It is Asia's first modern research center devoted to interdisciplinary research and bears a century-old tradition. The institute was founded as not merely a laboratory but a temple, with its principal aims being the advancement of science and diffusion of knowledge. Swami Vivekananda, Sister Nivedita, whose influence is reflected in the institute's emblem of Vajra, was significant in the setting up of the institute, and Rabindranath Tagore were among those who had consistently inspired and supported Jagadish Chandra Bose in his endeavors. Ever since the establishment of the Department of Science and Technology, Government of India in May 1971, Bose Institute has been an autonomous grant-in-aid institution of DST. Over the last century, the institute has endlessly strived to preserve the legacy of its illustrious founder. In this podcast, we are happy to present Dr. Debraj Mukherjee from the Department of Chemical Sciences in Bose Institute. But before going into more details about his research work, let us hear from his own voice about his academic journey.
Myself, Debraj Mukherjee. I'm working in the field of Department of Chemical Sciences at Bose Institute for the last 1 year. Before that, I worked almost like 17 years in another government institute, that is Indian Institute of Integrative Medicine under Council of Scientific and Industrial Research. And I did my PhD before that from again another CSR institute, IICB Kolkata, and I did a brief postdoctoral work with Professor David Craich at Wayne State University, US. I joined CSR lab, and from there now it is a journey of like 17 years I work in the field of mainly medicinal chemistry.
Dr. Debraj Mukherjee speaks on medical chemistry and therapeutics.
Today I will be talking about mostly medicinal chemistry and therapeutics. So development of therapeutics. As we all know, life begins with molecules. So basically, if we see, we call it prebiotic primordial soup theory. According to that, all the molecules, organic or inorganic molecules, combine together to form a basic unit of the life, that is amino acids. So idea is, if we have a molecule that can also cure our diseases. So our basic research is mostly natural product driven. So natural product driven lead molecules which we use as a therapeutics as well as vaccine candidate for curing different diseases such as cancer, antimicrobial diseases, and other lifestyle disorder like diabetes and other diseases. So in brief, we basically get the natural product lead molecules, and then we use in antibacterial therapies such as different Mycobacterium tuberculosis or other antiviral diseases, where we use this molecule for both for development as well as discovery point of view. Apart from that, due to this last pandemic, COVID-19 has taught us that we have to work on viral molecules also. So we are using these nucleoside molecules for different antiviral drugs, including coronavirus, other like dengue, then influenza virus, flu virus, etc. And finally, we are working in a very important area, that is affordable drug synthesis. So we are all trained organic synthetic chemists. So we can synthesize molecule, and we are synthesizing some very expensive life-saving drugs using making India raw materials. So this way we can serve the Indian population, because mostly these drugs are quite expensive, and if we have our own IP, only then, otherwise evergreening of patents by pharmaceutical industries, they never allow that drug to come into the market in much lower cost. So this is one area we are also working with. So this is overall our research area where we are focusing on.
Dr. Debraj Mukherjee speaks about his research on discovery component and developmental contributions.
So these are two type of, I will say, one is developmental, another one is discovery component. So developmental component is finding out a non-infringing routes for the synthesis of life-saving drugs, as I have talked about. Like, I will take a specific example. Like, we have a IP for a drug dapagliflozin, which we have done the patent. Now, if we have a patent, now we can out-license that route for Indian different type of industry. As well as during COVID time, we were able to synthesize some nucleoside drug like remdesivir, molnupiravir. These are the drugs which we have the IP now with us. And at the same time, the most important thing is that certain drugs are showing some side effects like teratogenicity, mutagenicity in case of molnupiravir. So now we are working on the medicinal chemistry where we can solve those drug resistance as well as side effects. And another important topic which maybe we work in future is phytopharmaceuticals, because as we're all aware that all type of Ayurveda, Unani and Siddha medicines, these are very much popular. But the main problem is that there is no scientific evidence, and therefore the regulatory authorities hardly consider them, they are not registered. So we have this system of Indian traditional system medicine, like we have Ayush, which is the regulatory body where we have to make those formulations using exactly the authoritative book what is written in the text. But here in case of phytopharmaceuticals, it can be an alternative to allopathy therapy where once it is approved can be given to the normal through over-the-counter prescription.
Dr. Mukherjee speaks on alternate medicine.
What happens is that in Ayurveda, Unani and Siddha, there is some in authoritative book, there is some protocol written. So we have to exactly follow that, and that drug comes under Ayush. But here if we can able to go for phytopharmaceuticals, this is under the ambit of CDSCO. So that is Drug Standard Control Department working under DCGI. So here we have to have a standardized extract, and then we have all the characterized 4 marker component quantified properly. Then we can have the scientific evidences like safety data and other toxicology and all the data like a normal allopathy drug. And this we have started working with in CSR IIM Jammu, from where I am hailed, that is the nodal lab, and also in DST also now we work to. In future we want to definitely go with that phytopharmaceuticals. There is one way we can position ourselves. If we go into the specifics, basically these phytopharmaceuticals is a very new concept. 2015 actually it is launched. So we are definitely working on it, but since the rules and regulations are much strict and it is simple like a new chemical entities, like a single molecule allopathy drug, so definitely standardization and other things takes time. And yes, we are quite hopeful, like for Triplam Jammu, some of the molecules they have able to go to the clinical trials. So in COVID also some of the drugs they have gone up to the clinical trials, but it will take some time for definitely. But the affordable drug, the other one I am talking about, India is positioned like world leaders in that. So as an organic chemist, we train manpower and then they join pharmaceutical industry. And now India in the third, almost like after USA and China, in synthesizing these molecules, drugs, API we call it, active pharmaceutical ingredient. And due to this present government initiative, lot of startup company has also started. So we train that manpower so that they are skilled enough to synthesize using our own route, so that we can get the IP and then it can be affordable to the current population. We are like CSR, there are 3-4 labs like NCL, IICT, then from where I am from, CSR Triplam Jammu, and all DST labs are also working together. And we not of know-how, like Malnopura know-how, we have already transferred to the industry. Like there are several drug molecules, pegavalin, so many molecules if I talk about, which are all out licensed by the government sector. The industry has taken that and then they are using it for affordable drug synthesis. So this is one area which we can say we can position ourselves, and using raw materials, making India materials mostly, which is we are trying to do nowadays.
Dr. Debraj Mukherjee speaks on the patent issue and the role of the industry in our country.
It is individual patents. Like Molnupiravir, I have taken individual patent. Dapagliflozin, another over-the-counter drug nowadays for type 2 diabetes. I have taken a patent. Now, after taking the patent, application of the patent, it takes time to finally approval of the patent. Once we have the patent with us, like individual patent I have in Molnupiravir and Dapagliflozin, now we can start talking with the industry if they are interested in taking that and do the further upscaling of that. So we have to do it in gram scale, synthesize it, and then this is the way things goes.
We're thankful to Dr. Debraj Mukherjee for providing us with his valuable time and information on this field of research.